Hello everyone. Today we'll again have a revision session for Mat 2. Let's wait for a few 2-3 minutes so that others would also join.
Sir, in meantime, can I ask some PYQ doubts or we can do it in some other session?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Let's take one
Okay.
doubt. Then
So,
after that we'll start.
okay, just let me open that particular paper. Sir, shall I share my screen or means I have just pasted the link as well? So what should I do?
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, question number?
30 and 31, sir.
Okay, so just for everyone, we are just taking one or two doubts, then we'll start the session. See, in here we have this, consider the following JavaScript in HTML. What will be the output on the console? So first of all, this object has been created, right? This var has
Yes.
been done. Okay. So let's start from the bottom where the actual execution of the function happens. First, let x equal to ex object dot in object. So let's see what that is. Ex object dot in object. So now this inner object becomes x. Fine.
Okay.
Now we are saying console.log x dot inner object func. So there should be some kind of inner object func. So this is it. Inside this in object we have a inner object func,
Mhm.
and we are executing that. So inside when we are executing, so just to be clear, remember what we had in arrow functions. So when the arrow functions are defined, that's when the this value for arrow function
Is
gets,
not defined.
yeah, no, when the arrow function is defined, that's where
Mhm.
the this object for arrow function gets uh, like fixed. It gets fixed at that point, and later on you can't change it.
Mhm.
So where is the actual definition happening over here? So see, when we are saying when this in object has been defined, that's when the actual inner object function, do you understand the execution flow, right? The code goes from
Yes, sir.
top to bottom, and first the functions are being defined, and after
Yes.
that
Okay.
later on we execute them. So when the function
Mhm.
definition happens, that's when this gets, the value of this gets fixed. So just go again here inside this in object. When the function when this object is being defined and this function is also being defined, what is the value of this here at this point?
At this point,
75.
where
uh,
one.
what is the value of this, someone said?
75.
No, just this
No.
this is an object.
It will be the Windows object, no, sir,
Window.
because it's an arrow function.
Yes, it will be the window object. Why? Because only a function execution changes the context, nothing else changes the context. So as you can see in here, no function has been called here.
Yes. Okay.
If a function has not been called, that means the this context cannot change, and in here we don't have any function being executed. So at this point when we have this arrow function definition, at that point this becomes the window object, right?
Okay.
Everyone agrees to this?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So when we are saying x dot inner function, return value is and this dot var1. What is var1? Does the window object have a var1? Just look
Yes,
above.
it has
It
56
has a var1 because
at the
var
window
also
object.
creates a property. So two concepts are coming here. The var creating a property inside the window object when defined in a global scope, and also the this context becomes fixed when the arrow function is defined. So that means it takes the value 56. Okay, this is the
Okay.
first one. So this logs out whatever is this. This value is 56. The second one, ex object dot ex object func. So let's see what this does. When you execute this inside the function, when the function is being executed inside a normal function, when a function is being executed, at that point of time, this context takes place. So in here, it should be pretty simple. We have this ex object dot ex function. So let var2 equal to this, return this dot var2. So what is this at this particular point? What is the object that is calling this function?
X obj.
X object.
X obj. This is the object that is calling the function. So X obj has the var2. It has var2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 24. So
So
first one was 56, then 24.
that's right. My question is like, means I understood this, but at the very start that we have var, right? What if we have a let there?
Then 56, this won't have any value. It will be
Undefined,
undefined.
right?
Yes.
And 31, sir.
Okay, let's take that afterwards. Let's
Okay, sir.
first complete all
Sir,
that.
can you please explain again why var1 becomes like 56? As var1 is in object, na? In object function there is an arrow function, so it should take the scoping of in object function.
No, that's not how arrow functions work. See, the important point over here is we are using this dot var1. So we have to understand what is this here at this point of time. What is this, right? So to understand that, we have to know at the point of definition when the function has been defined, what is this? That's how arrow functions work. So when arrow functions are defined, that means when the code runs through this block of code, at this point of time, when this in object func has been defined, what is this? Just imagine if I say var1 colon this, what would be the value of var1 colon this? What is this just outside?
Se- 56.
Is it still 56? I'm just talking about this. This is an object.
75, sir.
No, this is an object. This is not a value. This is an object.
Okay.
This is either the window object or some kind of object that we define later on. So
Okay.
just so at this point, this context only changes when the function is being executed. When any function, a normal function, has been executed, that's when the this context changes, and that is why inside this ex object, no function has been called right now. No function has been called. So that's why the this object inside here would be the window object, and the window object takes this, and this has the var1, and that is why we get 56.
Okay, sir, understood now.
Okay.
So just one question. So if in place of where, if it was let or const, then also it have given undefined now, like for both let and const,
Yes, that is when it will get undefined. Why?
because they are not the global, um, they do not define the global thing. That's why. But
uh,
where is a
See, there are two things. One is a property, one is a variable, right? A normal variables, property. When we defined some kind of variable as var in the global scope, this only happens with var in the global scope. It becomes a property of the window object. So now you can say window dot var1. Okay, only happens with var. So for let and const, it does not create a property in global object. So if it was defined with let or const, then this dot var1 would get undefined. Got it?
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'll share one document, which is what we'll be solving today. So previously we had solved the same document, we had solved till question number 16. And today we'll go further, complete all this. And if you have any doubts, we'll cover that later on. Okay. So this is again a question on arrow functions and how this has been defined. So I already explained this once. I hope you'll answer this. We have an object. Okay, let's not go again like this. Let's see what has been executed. Obj.normal function. This is the first execution that is happening. So let's see obj.normal function. What does that do? It is a function which changes something. So let's see. Let's execute that and see. So in here, what are you doing? This dot arrow function. What is this inside the this function? It's a normal function. Remember, it's a normal function. So this is the one that is calling the normal function. So obj becomes the this inside the normal function. Everyone clear with that? This is the object, since this is a normal function. For a normal function, whatever is on the left side of the normal function that is calling it becomes the this for that function. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this dot arrow function equal to something else. That is what this normal function is doing. It is changing the this dot arrow function. Previously, this dot arrow function was null. Now it is changing the this dot arrow function to to a actual arrow function. Okay, and at this point, the arrow function is being defined. That means the this context for the arrow function will be fixed at this point. Okay, what is this now inside the arrow function?
Rohit,
Yeah, this object, this Rohit object. Okay, see what we did. We created a this, and according to that, this what we are defining this arrow function at the time of the definition of the arrow function. Whatever is this, that becomes the this inside the arrow function as well. So that is what it is happening. Rohit also becomes this. And now when we execute this obj.arrow function, obj.arrow function, is this null or is this not null? When we execute this, it is not null. It is this particular arrow function because we have previously changed it, right? We have this dot arrow function, we changed it. So now this null becomes now this null gets replaced with this total function, and console.log this dot name. So this is the Rohit object. So this dot name becomes the Rohit. Is everyone clear
And sir,
with that?
suppose if this wouldn't have been there, besides the arrow function, then undefined would have been the answer.
You're talking about this line.
Yeah,
Okay, so in this line, what do you want to change? If you just want to remove this,
remove this. Yeah,
so arrow function equal to this. So it did not change the this. So this would give you an error. Obj dot arrow function is not a function. It would say.
yeah.
Okay, that would give you an error in that case.
Means if we just remove that this part from the arrow function, then it's not a function anymore
Yes.
because it is not
Yes.
inherent.
So if you remove this dot from this line,
Mhm.
then this arrow function still becomes null. It does not change. So
Okay.
at this point of time, when you say obj dot arrow function, what will the language think? Obj dot arrow function should be a function, but it is not a function. This is
Oh,
null. So if you try to do that as a null, it will give you an error.
but again, we are defining an arrow function there, right? So the null should get replaced.
No, you see, you are if you just write arrow function.
Mhm.
Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so we have a code editor also now. We can test things out. Okay, so we have this. Is this visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have this. When you remove this dot, will this piece of code change the arrow function, line number 3? Will it change that property from the object? It will not.
No.
Okay, it will not. It will just create an arrow function which will be useless because you can't access this. Can you access this from anywhere? You can't access this. Arrow function equal to something.
It's temporary, so we can't access, right?
Since this is defined like this, it becomes a global variable, a global function. But just for an example, so if we had this like let arrow function, we cannot use it anywhere because this is not accessible anywhere
Hmm.
outside of this function. So we can do like this arrow function, we can call here, but apart from that, we can't access it from anywhere.
Because the let is
Yes,
scoped, right?
yes. So in this case, when we try to access obj.arrow function, when we try to do this, then obj.arrow function is null, and we are trying to
Okay.
call that null. We are trying to call that null.
We can't
That's
do
why,
that.
yes. So we get an error. So just for demonstration, I will do show that. So yes, you can see on the right, obj.arrow function is not a function. We try to call something on a null. That's why we getting an error. All right.
Understood.
Any doubt on this? So I hope arrow functions and normal functions are clear to most. If not, we can delve more on that. Okay, I hope it is. So in this case, the answer would be Rohit. Fine. Answer A. Okay, shall we move on to the next one? We have a JavaScript code, and what will be the last value? So read the question first. What will be the last value shown on the console after 4 seconds? So some kind of set timeout or set interval should be used, right? So what will be the last value shown on the console after 4 seconds? So let's see. First, this start name printer has been defined. It's a function. It's an arrow function in which we have x equal to name dot split. What is name at this point? Okay, it's a function, so when it will be called. So name dot split. So let's forget about this because now it is not been called. As of now, it has not been called. It's just a definition. So let's forget about this at this point. Again, start. Okay, so the calling is happening like this. Okay, start name printer and that orange. So orange is passed as the name. Okay, now it has been called. So x equal to name dot split this. Do you know what split does? A string dot split. So it breaks things down. So using a string,
Element.
yeah, it using this delimiter. This is called a delimiter. Using this, it breaks things string down into uh, arrays. So if you give this as a blank, it will split out individual uh, individual letters from that string. So now you're saying name dot split. So let me copy it, since I don't have edit access for this. Let me write it over here itself. Okay. So what this will do, name dot split O R
Split
A
out
N
each individual
G
letter.
E. Okay, like this. And now you're saying dot reverse. So array dot reverse, we have learned this method. It
Flip
will
side.
reverse the order. E G N A R O. That's what this will do. Let handler equal to set interval, and you're giving this callback function. So set interval will execute this particular function at every 1000 milliseconds. So every 1 second this will execute. And we have a set timeout. This will do certain things. Let's see what set interval does first. So at 1 second, y dot pop, y equal to x dot pop. At 1 second, y equal to x dot pop. So x dot pop from the last.
It removes the last element.
Okay, so becomes o, y becomes o, console dot log y. So o gets logged, and we have a set timeout that will clear the interval, clear interval of handler, this thing, and with the name dot length plus 1 into 1000. So name dot length would, whatever is the name length, 336, it is 6 plus 1, so 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, it will remove the this function altogether. So that's what this is doing. So we don't have to worry about that. For 4 seconds we don't have to worry about that. So at 2 seconds, again it will pop another letter out. O R A A gets popped out at 4 seconds. N gets popped out. Is that right? At 4 seconds, this gets popped out. So is that the question? What will be the last value shown on the console after 4 seconds? So yeah, so A should be the last value that is shown on the console. Okay, so not A, it's showing N. Oh, my my writing was wrong. So E G, sorry. Okay, wait just a minute.
So you are correct.
First, okay, first A should get popped out, right? O from the reverse.
You are reversing the entire string, right? So the last value will be
No, sir, you were correct before.
you were correct.
O gets popped out, then A gets popped out.
And
Is
in the
that
4 second, n gets popped out.
Mhm.
okay? N gets popped out. Yeah, makes sense.
Very sweet.
O gets popped out, R gets popped out, A, then N. Okay.
So what happens if this here we have only 4 seconds, right?
Yes.
And this one is name dot length, that is almost 6 plus 1 7 seconds, right?
Hmm.
Total 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, like say at 11 seconds, what will happen?
So you will try to have X dot pop. Even I'm not sure for an empty array, if you use a pop, what happens. I think we previously
It should
tried
give.
that, but see, at the end it will get empty. X will get empty.
Hmm.
The X dot pop. So let's just try that out. So for an empty array, let's have an empty array dot pop. So you're getting undefined value.
Okay.
Suppose just completion x equal to an empty array. Let's have one right now. Then x dot pop. X dot pop again. Yeah, so you're getting an empty array.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Like this. Okay. So X is still empty, and then whenever you try to pop it, excuse me, little bit of sick. Okay, so X will still be empty, and then whatever you're trying to pop will be undefined. So important thing to note: this will not cause an error. It will just pop undefined.
Yes, sir. Okay. That's why I asked this question.
Sir, sorry, sir, I didn't understand how it is n. Because when you wrote it correctly, right? It'll
No, no.
reverse.
I see. What I did was I wrote the order wrong over here.
EGN, right? EGN
O R
A.
A
Ah,
then N.
N.
Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 means A only, no, sir. How N?
4 means O, then R, then A, and then N. Is that not right?
Pop. Popping
Previously, I
from
wrote the
pop is from the end, right? Oh yeah, ORAN.
yeah from the end we
Yeah,
are popping.
1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. Okay, sorry, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I actually wrote the order wrong previously. Okay. Is it okay? Clear interval, set interval. Okay. Yes. One doubt is there. Oh, that was a thumbs up or a hand raise. I'm not sure.
So,
Yes.
if in place of after, if it was like at 4 seconds, then also we will get the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it is at interpretation, to be honest. But when we say 4 seconds or give a particular time, so it will you think of that particular second only. So even if it was written at 4 seconds, then also the answer would be same.
okay, so
Okay, let's move on. Let me place it here. Okay, so in here we have predict the code output if executed. First, let start equal to 5. Fine. Then a function has been defined, and then we are executing this function. So remember, just not remember, I'm saying that's the way to deal with problems on code. So when you're defining a function, you don't have to check everything. When you're executing that function, check what is happening. So execution happens usually at the bottom side of the code, so look for that first when the code is being executed. The check is being executed here, then we'll go to the check function, because sometimes the parameter, the arguments to those parameters and all will be passed here, so you have to check for that. So in here we are returning new promise, creating a promise, resolve reject, order is right, and let a equal to set interval start plus plus. So start plus plus, so start we have already defined, it will have a plus plus. And if start equal to 7, in that case console.log reached, and then we'll clear the interval if start becomes 7, and we'll resolve it. So resolve and reject have both been given, so whatever is the first that comes up will be called. So resolve pass, else yet to reach, and 500 milliseconds. So every zero point 0.5 seconds we'll run this code, check what is happening. So what do you think what will happen?
After zero point 0.5 milliseconds, it will goes to start will goes to say 6, and it will print it to be reached.
Okay, so first
After
you're saying
yeah,
yet to
after
reach.
once
After 1 second.
And no, after 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And
So
after 1 second, it will print pass and fail. Means reach, and for the response, it will uh, say pass.
Pass.
okay, so okay, yeah. So when we are using this, I think everyone understands. We have first time when it executes, start plus plus becomes 6. It goes to the else condition. Then again, when we execute, start becomes 7. We go to this condition, reached, clear, and then pass. And after that pass has been passed from the promise, dot then this will catch that and it will log the whatever is being logged. So
If
this
the
thing,
fail was earlier, right, then it
yeah,
would go for the catch, right?
yes. So whatever is whichever callback function is reached first, that gets the output.
So clear interval is just to means reset the clock.
Not reset the clock. Remove that clock.
Okay.
Remove that. So again, it will not execute.
Okay.
So sir, here we do not need to explicitly mention that we have to call A1. So check will implicitly call A1.
What are you
Because
saying?
in the code we have written let A1 is equal to set interval. And we are not explicitly calling A1, right?
Where have we said that even equal to?
So let A1 is equal to set interval.
Okay. Yes. Then. Okay. This one. Okay. So for clear interval, we need this ID. So that's why we are using even. What was your question again?
My question was that we don't need to explicitly say that means we have to call A1. So directly if we call check, it will implicitly call A1.
Oh yes, yes, yes. You don't have to define it like this. You can directly have set interval. This thing, but when we define set interval, we give it an ID so that we can clear it later on. Otherwise, it will go. It will execute till infinity. So sometimes, if we want to stop the execution at a point, we give it an ID, and then that whatever is the value, we can use that for clear interval.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, in this particular question, yet to reach will be printed instantly. Then reached will come after 1 second, and after that pass. Is that how it's going to work?
No, yet to reach will not be given instantly because this is under that
No, I mean
the set interval.
after half, I mean half a second, it's going
Yes,
to print yet to reach,
yet to reach.
and
Next
then
half a second, reached, and then pass instantly.
okay.
Yet to reach, reached, pass. So I think A, yeah, A is the answer. Okay, everyone. Any other doubt? Next question. In order to ensure the that items entered to the to-do list persist after screen refreshed by adding it to a local storage, choose the code that can replace code 1 as marked below. So these kinds of question will also be asked. What should be written in place of this particular placeholder? Okay, so this is the index v model, new data, placeholder, enter your list, and a button so that you can add it to the to-do list. So this has to persist across refreshes. Data equal to, I mean, the full everything is not been given, but data equal to this particular thing. Okay, methods add to-do list. So when you click this, then this thing will happen. Then this dot to-do list dot push new data. So we are adding the whatever data, the new data that we give to this to-do list array. All right, and now we have to save that to the local storage or the session storage. So what should be the answer? It should be pretty simple. You have to store that. You have to store this to-do list somewhere, right? This to-do list has
So
to be stored. Yes.
the first option.
Local storage dot set item, local storage key, any key, and JSON dot stringify this dot to-do list. Sounds pretty obvious. We are using this dot to-do list, which is the object that we want to save, and then stringifying it, and then saving it to local storage. Set item. Get item, of course, we can't use because get item is to retrieve the data. And then set item, what is this? JSON dot parse. Parse is for converting a string object to an actual JavaScript object.
JSON.
Yes. So parse we can't use. And again, get item we can't use.
Sir, storage, that storage, whatever storage we are using, that will store the data in string manner, right? That's why we are creating this, it's like stringifying the entire array. Right?
See, we stringify it because the local storage or session storage in browser expects a string version of things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And this storage key, we have to assume that it's already here.
Yeah, we have to assume that this variable has already been defined somewhere. Okay. So now doubts on this. Consider the following markup and JavaScript. We have this app binding. We are binding v while style. We are binding mode equal to either dark. So we are checking if this is so. Whenever we are using v bind or colon, then this whatever is inside it becomes a JavaScript expression. So that means this becomes a tertiary operator. I think that's what it is called. I hope so. So mode equal to dark. If this mode equal to dark, then the value would be dark. Otherwise, it will be normal. The value
So
of
there
style.
is a triple equal to.
Yeah, triple equal to directly exactly checks if the string matches the string, if the integer matches the integer or not.
Yes.
At click of this button, we will trigger this function and then pass in the dark as a argument. Again, another change mode, pass normal as a parameter. And then this is the margin, hello IATM, and so on. And then we have the app. Okay, before I read this, I want to read the question. Suppose the application is running on this. If a user visits the index.html page and clicks on the button normal and then closes the tab in which the application is open, then visit the website again, what will be the background color of the div? So multiple things are happening. Clicking the normal button, then closing the tab. That means if you close the tab, everything which is not stored in the session or local storage would be gone, right? And then visits the website, what will be the background color of the ID app? Okay, is everyone clear with this? Clicking the button, closing the tab, then open again, and asking what is the background color of the div. So now let's see what is happening. We have this data. First check the syntax and everything is correct or not. Looks good. Data, we have the dark, we have the normal objects, and the mode as null as of now. So when we first open the browser, this created hook will run. It's a lifecycle hook. Created will run. Website mode equal to session storage dot get item mode. So at this point of time, does session storage have a mode?
No.
We did not set anything. We did not do anything. So it does not have this mode as a key. So it will return null. This dot mode equal to if there is a website mode. What does this mean? If this is a truthy value, then return the first thing on the left, If this is a falsy value, then return this on the right. Everyone understands this, right? Question mark colon.
Yes.
Okay, is just if and else. If this value is true, then this, else this. That's it. That means this is, since this is null, which is a falsy value, what is returned is the dark. So this dot mode equal to dark. So right now it is dark mode, and the user will click the normal button. This button it will click. When you click this button, this triggers this function with the argument of normal. So change mode, this will be triggered, and session dot set item mode equal to mode. This mode we got from the argument, the normal. That means mode is normal now, and this dot mode equal to normal. So this, all this happens when we first load the browser, click on the button, mode becomes normal. And then the second time when we visit the website again, this created hook will again run website dot session storage dot get item. Now this key mode is available in session storage, and this dot mode becomes, since this is now a truthy value, it will take the first value, which is website mode. What will be that be? Normal. Okay, normal, this dot mode.
Sir, session storage, if I remember correctly, when we
Yeah, I mean,
use
with
the
session
browser, it
storage
gets
also-
it.
Okay, so
Local mode, local storage generally persists all the storage till we delete. Session storage, if I remember correctly, it just removes everything. It is just till the session that is going on.
let us confirm. I don't trust the AI things, but still very convenient. Okay, cleared when the browser tab or window is closed. Yes, you are right. Okay, what does MDN say whenever session storage? Yes, closing the tab window ends the session and clears the data in the session storage. Okay, yes. So that cleared up. So the session storage would be gone. That means next time also when we visit it, this get item mode, this will still give you null. And in that case, this dot mode still is dark. So for dark, what do we have? The background color is black. Okay, so mode equal to dark, and for dark, we have this dark object being binded to the style, which is the background color black. So background color would be black. Okay, yeah.
And if it was local storage, then the answer would be white
Yes.
or red. Whatever.
Okay, and sometimes the question makers try to confuse you. Sometimes they would have this object dark and the background color would be white. So be very careful what is being asked. All right. In this case, there is no curveball, but sometimes that could happen. Recently, there have been less these kinds of questions, but sometimes that happens. Okay. Any questions on this?
No, sir.
Let's move. Let's move on. Fill in code one inside this mutation handler, which can be used to reduce the price of each product in the state by a certain discount. Okay, generally Vuex questions are very simple, easy way to score marks. In this store we have Vuex store, all these things are there. We have a mutation. What do you want to do in this mutation? I'll see the, okay, let's not see this right now. They are asking what can be used to inside the mutation handler, which can be used to reduce the price of each product in the state by a certain discount. Okay, so for we have to reduce the price. Mutation, sorry, yeah. So reduce price and sorry. So they're asking what will be here. We have to reduce this by a certain price, right? So we should actually see what are the options. So this dot store dot state dot products dot for each product we have produced product dot price minus equal to state dot discount looks too complicated. Okay, so first of all, be clear. We have this dot store available inside Vuex?
No.
This dot dollar store. This dot dollar store is only available inside Vue components. Remember when we use Vuex, in the root Vue component we have store colon store, or this we mentioned store. That is where this dollar store injection happens. This dollar store is not available in the Vuex component, Vuex store. It is not available. It is only available in Vue components. So this dot dollar store would anyways be wrong. If you wanted to mutate certain things from the Vue component, this could be a valid approach. Not ideal, but a valid approach. But in here, of course, this is a wrong option. Is that clear? The dollar store variable has not been injected here.
Yes, sir.
So this is not valid. Now state dot products. State dot products. Makes sense.
You can access it.
We have a when we have mutations, we get the state passed as the first argument of the function, and state dot products, that is valid. Dot for each product dot price for each. So for each will loop through each and individual elements of that array, and will do certain operations for that. So each element of this products array would be looped around, and this product is one element. Product dot price minus equals to state dot discount by 100 into product price. This makes sense to me. It is reducing the product dot price, which is also there. Product dot price is also there, and by state dot discount, whatever is the discount here. State dot discount by 100 into product price.
So
Does it make sense?
Don't we require that key as well?
Which key?
I actually learned that for each, when we use for each, there should be an key or index value that needs to be stored. So
No,
that
you
it
don't
works
have
right.
to.
Okay, we don't have.
You learned wrong. You can just have one element and then loop around and then do whatever operation you want using this element. So in this case, we named that element as a product.
Okay.
Okay, so we are reducing that. Okay, done. And we have commit dot products. Commit is not there here in mutation. We don't have a commit dot products. So this would anyways be wrong. Dispatch dot products. Dispatch is also not available in mutations. So only thing that makes sense is the B.
Sir, commit you call it in the actions, right?
Yes.
So if I had actions, then I'll be calling this commit dot products dot for each, right? Or that is wrong.
See, I will just explain a little bit. I'm not giving the full component, just giving you an idea of how things work in UX. See, mutations are here, right?
Yes.
And when we have actions,
You will commit the mutations from the action. Actually, you
Yes.
will dispatch, but I don't know where the dispatch comes. I saw the commit, that I understand.
Just imagine it's a action async func.
Okay.
So this reduce price, this is a mutation.
Correct.
So in here the state would be passed as the first parameter. All right.
Okay. Yes.
And in actions, the first parameter that is passed is the context. Context meaning the whole store is being passed as the first parameter, and second parameter you can manually define what you want.
Okay.
If you want certain arguments here, you can have it here.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you directly use dispatch over here, just use dispatch, dispatch something. Do you have this dispatch available to you? What does this dispatch variable mean, or dispatch function mean here? Not a dispatch, sorry, commit. If you're talking about commit, does this commit variable exist in this in here as of now?
No.
No. Okay. So either you do context dot commit.
Correct.
Context is the store. Since it's a defined as a Vuex store,
Vuex store.
Vuex store automatically has that dot commit, dot dispatch, and all the different functions it has. So either do this, or sometimes you would see it like this: destructure it using
Commit. Yeah.
and commit over here. So if you have destructured it, that means automatically whatever came, only the commit function is being available to you. So a whole object came over here, and you are just extracting the commit property or a commit function out of that and using it over here. Got it?
Got it. So, but I understand actions dispatch will happen from the actions to the mutation, and it will get committed. That
No,
this
from actions you usually commit the mutation. So commit and then have something like reduce price, like this. You would have it like this: commit, reduce price.
so the dispatch is coming in from the component, is it?
Yeah, dispatch can also come from component, also from action. So if you want to trigger another action, there are multiple actions.
Okay.
If you want to trigger, so in here suppose we have action 1,
Okay.
then we have commit, so if I want to trigger action 1 from this async function, I could
Okay.
also dispatch
Dispatch. Okay.
this, like this, action 1.
Okay.
Okay, but in here, since I don't have dispatch, I can either destructure it and get dispatch,
Okay.
or you can use this whole object, you can call it as a context, and context.commit, context.dispatch. That's how you can use it.
So from the lifecycle perspective, it will be dispatch, mutate, and commit.
Dispatch, then commit, then mutate. So what generally happens, if there is an async function that you want to trigger for a component, the component will dispatch an action, then that action will commit a mutation. This, suppose this action, this does commit a mutation, and that mutation will
then the mutation will happen,
would mutate the state, or change the state.
How it does that? It also uses
Just
dispatch
have state dot something, state dot products equal to something else, so it will change the state, right?
They also use dispatch. Mutations.
From mutations, you directly change the state. So mutations already have the state, so that is passed as.
Can we have dispatch as well here?
In mutation? Yes, you can have.
And commit as well. The reason I'm asking this is because in quiz 2, this one question actually they give extra bonus marks
Actually,
because
we don't use dispatch and commit from mutations. The sole purpose of
Mhm.
mutation is just to change the state. That's it.
Okay, but in lecture they told that mutation is for dispatch and action is for commit. Like we commit the action.
No, see, we commit the mutations,
Mhm.
dispatch actions, and uh, that's it. Commit mutation, dispatch actions. The mutations, they change the state. State dot products equal to something else now.
So, sir, which is responsible for changing the mutation? Like, is it action or is it like commit?
Mutations are not changed, mutations are triggered. For triggering mutations, you can directly trigger mutations from the components, from view components, or through actions, or other mutations also. No, from other mutations you can't. Okay, so to be clear, again, let me reiterate. Mutations, the sole purpose of mutation is to change the state. Something inside the state variables, if you want to change, you use a mutation. If you want to trigger a mutation, then either you do it from action or you do it from the view components. Is that clear?
Okay, sir. Then, if you want to change it from action, then we do commit dispatch both, or you could use one or the either. So, how do you do it? If you have to like influence the
See, just
mutation.
give me a example. Is that example okay? We have a product and I want to change that product. Is that example okay? In that context, what we will do, we have a change products. We have this mutation that will change the product. Suppose it takes an array. And I want to change this state dot products equal to the new products. So this is what is changing the state. Now what do you want to do?
How do I get here
How
from
do I trigger this?
from actions?
From actions. From action, suppose in action 1 you want to do it. So you just have commit, change spelling is wrong in the first one, products. That's it. And give it a array. Okay, that's how you can commit.
So I'm not using dispatch here.
No. Dispatch is used to trigger a action. You are triggering a mutation. So you use commit. See, functions need to be called, right? If you want to call, simply speaking, if you want to call a mutation, you use the word commit. If you want to call action, you use the word dispatch. That's it. In here, uh, we want to execute this mutation, so we use the commit word. If you wanted to execute an action, I would use a dispatch. Why do we have do different things? Actions, mutations.
Action can only handle the sync part, right? Yes, first one is
If anything is asynchronous, we have to use actions. Mutations are also functions, actions are also functions. But if there is something asynchronous, mutations can't handle that. That's why we need actions to handle asynchronous work. Is this clear? To execute a mutation, use commit. To execute a action, use dispatch. It doesn't matter where you want to execute from. In here, we are actually executing from the view component, Vuex itself. Suppose I want to execute from a component, view component. In that case, we could also use a commit. So in that case, you would use a dollar store, either this dot dollar store dot commit, or this dot dollar store dot dispatch. Depending on if you want to call a mutation or if you want to call a action.
Oh, just because then we didn't, we ignored option A as, we marked option A as wrong because of the presence of this dot dollar store since this was within the Vuex store.
Yes, exactly. So this, when does this dollar store gets injected?
When it's, you're saying that when it's not to be used within the Vuex store, it has
Yes.
to be used from a component.
Yeah, inside Vuex store we don't have this variable dollar store at all. If you try to print out this anywhere inside here, this would be the, I'm not sure it would be the window object or not. I think it should be the window object. I would have to double check on that. But this dollar store only gets injected when we define it like this. So this, we had a previous example of view somewhere. Okay, just for clarity, we have just when we define new view, and then we define things, and then we have store colon store. When we do this, all the components have the dollar store injected. This dot dollar store injected only when we do this. Before that, we don't have anywhere. So in the Vuex store, we don't have this dot dollar store. Okay. Any other doubt? I'm I'm not seeing anyone having any doubt. Should we move on? Okay. A pretty simple question. Which of the following HTTP is used for cacheable? Which of the following HTTP request is cacheable in general? Get is cacheable. We are getting some kind of data. Why is post not cacheable? Because post will
You are
insert
sending
the data.
data.
Yeah, we are sending a data. That means why should we cache the result? So generally, when we return a post request, we return the ID and whatever is everything that has been inserted recently, the newest insert. So it doesn't make sense to cache it. Put also doesn't make sense because we are putting a new value. We're inserting, not inserting a new value. We are changing, modifying a value, and it should not be cached. So get is the most cacheable thing out of it.
Sir, what is the difference between put and update?
Put and update. Update is nothing. We have a put and patch.
Okay. In batch, I think header is not sent, right?
See, in general, when we talk about the CRUD operations, create, update, retrieve, delete. Okay, put can be used for uh, both updating as well as, see, what basically, for me personally and a lot of developers, lot of them don't use patch much. Most of them
Okay.
have the put operation only and they modify it using put. But actually, if you read the literature, what put says, put means uh, add a data. Sorry, I think put actually means delete the data that was here and then replace it with something else.
Okay.
And patch actually means that modify the data with a new value. So put and patch. Let me just look it up. Put difference. Yeah. So yeah, that's what this says. Replace the entire resource and does not exist. and patch means apply partial modifications to resource. So that is what they are meant to do, but a lot of people use the put http verb and use it for patch, and I do the same. I don't implement put and patch differently. I just have everything in the put operation.
Understood.
Consider the Flask application and the index. See, so you have certain Flask questions as well. So you expect certain Flask questions on security measures and so on. Caching, of course, you can expect one. From Flask import Flask, this thing is pretty standard. Okay, so before I do that, I want to read the question. If a user visits the index at this time, so 10 a.m., 10, what will be logged on the console? That means, where do we start with? User is visiting the index.html. It is not sending a request to the backend. It is visiting the index. So from this, you can get clues. How do we start reading the code? It says go to index.html. So we start here. Inside the script, this is pretty standard. Inside the script, we have one result response one equal to fetch, and response two equal to another fetch. So these two, what are these? Get requests. These two get requests are happening, and when the response comes, then we do all these operations. So first we have to read what is the response, because until we get the response back, the dot thens will not execute. Let's see what these responses are. From 5000 slash, this is the first response was directly to the base without any particular thing. So we have base as this. We have home time dot sleep 10. So for 10 seconds, it will it will keep that core on hold. So it will keep that request on hold, and then finally after that, it will return the JSONify datetime dot now dot second. So whatever is the time, and then dot second it will return with the 200 code. And at the same time, we have another request to the slash profile. And one main thing to note over here, can you see what is happening?
So
One
threaded
very
is false.
important thing is happening over here.
Threaded is false.
Threaded is false. So can it handle two concurrent
No.
requests at a time? See, the requests we are sending, they will send concurrently. One will send, then immediately the second one will send. It will not wait for the first request to come back. That is the beauty for asynchronous code. You don't have to wait for the response to come back. You can send multiple requests. But is the application able to handle two requests at a time? No, because we said threaded equal to false. Since we said threaded equal to false, it can only handle one request at a time. So that means only when this request completes, it will respond to the second request, right? So that means first this request will come, that is the datetime dot now dot second. So 10 now becomes 10 after 10 seconds, 10 So and after that, another 30 seconds afterwards, datetime dot now. So now datetime dot now becomes 10 and then add another 30 seconds to that, 10 and after that it will respond with this datetime dot second. So first should be it send at this particular time, and now at 20, what will be logged to the what will log to the console, we have to see that. So for the first request, we are returning response.json. So that JSON was this only, right? Datetime dot now. Not sure how it will JSONify it.
Sir, that is for the second one, right?
Uh-huh. Okay,
Rest
so
one will be 10.
yeah, this one, datetime.now, we're getting that response back. It tries to convert to JSON and whatever JSON data. So in our case, it is just sending the data of 20. It will only be 20. We're
So
returning the
20.
data 20.
After 10 seconds, we are adding both, right? Like first, we have to wait 10 seconds.
So yeah,
And,
so the first request comes at 10, 10, 10.
hmm.
10 a.m., 10 minutes, 10 seconds. It comes, the first request comes. It sleeps for 10 seconds. Now the time is 10, 10, 20 seconds. And datetime dot now dot second will
Only
give you
extracts the
20.
second.
Yes, it returns 20.
Okay, okay, understood.
So first one will log out. The data would be 20. Second one, the second one, the request comes at 10, 10, 20 seconds. Then add another 30 seconds to it for sleeping. Then the datetime dot now becomes 10, 10, 50. So now that 50 dot second will give you the 50. And here data would be 50. So first would be 20 and 50. So that is the answer.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
so if threaded was true, then what will be the answer?
Then both requests will be handled concurrently. First would go. So this is 30 seconds, right? So first would give you 20, then this would give you 40. This request will give you 40.
Yes, sir.
So both of these requests will go to the call stack simultaneously, right? Sorry, not the call stack. What is the
See,
other
I
stack
don't
for?
like to use call stack when we are talking about running Flask applications and all. See, what Flask does is it's a server, creates a server. Server can handle multiple requests at a time, and this particular threading that we turned off in this case does not allow that. But in case of threaded equal to true, that is the default behavior of Flask app, it can handle multiple requests simultaneously. So this will happen independently. This will happen independently. So if you're talking about call stack, I am not exactly sure how would I explain you using call stack in this scenario.
No, sir. Suppose this same thing was executed in JavaScript. Then
Hmm.
we have a call stack and we have a task queue, right? Sorry, not a task queue. What is it? What it is called?
Yeah,
Um,
call we have a call stack, we have a event loop, we have.
yeah. So in the event loop, both of these requests will go simultaneously to the event loop. But after, so that's why it will be 24 seconds,
Oh,
right?
you're talking about the bottom part, this one, response
Yeah.
1, response 2. You're talking about
Yeah.
this? Yes, definitely. This will go to the call stack. Then, whenever the request comes back, so request 1, if request 1 comes back first, it will use the dot thens of that first. Because, see, first it goes to that. mm, if you go back to that diagram,
Aditya sir, this one recording on YouTube also, right? Streaming on YouTube also, right?
I hope so. I turned it on previously. Yes, it is.
Huh?
Yes, it is.
So, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
No, sir, because of you, I'm getting marks.
Okay. So, yes,
Okay.
if you're
Thank you,
talking
sir.
about
I'll
this
check
call
that.
stack, both of this res1, res2, both of them go into the call stack. Both of them go into that web API. Remember, I had a diagram drawn somewhere like this. In this case, not. Okay, so we have a call stack. So web APIs is what keeps track of what is happening after things get executed from the call stack. And then we have this ask you. So the fetch call, if you're talking about this fetch call, wrong tab. Yeah. So this fetch call, both of them go simultaneously. Okay, both of them goes to the call stack simultaneously. Then after the fetch call has been received, they go into the web APIs. Now what matters is which of these are coming back first, right? Which of them are coming back first? If this the first fetch call comes back first, then this will be moved to the task queue, then executed in the call stack. So dot then of this will happen first. If the second response is coming back first, then this will be moved to the task queue. Okay, so
It
for
depends on which one completes first, right?
yes. In our case, the first fetch call completed first, so that will be printed out first. Since response 1 takes less time, this is taking 10 seconds, this is taking 30 seconds. So this of course comes back first. That is why this data is being printed first. 20, and then that case 50, 20 and 50.
And so still because of fetch, it is still running asynchronously, right?
Yes. Okay, let's move on. So what is following true about Redis? Data is always manipulated in the main computer RAM.
In-memory database, right? That is the in-memory
Yeah, data
database.
is always manipulated in the main computer RAM. So it's a Redis itself is a in-memory database. That's what we call it. So in-memory only means that it's based on RAM. All the data is being stored on the RAM. If data is being stored on the RAM, that means also it's been manipulated on the RAM also. If the statement is true. It stores data on disk by default. This is absolutely false. Redis only runs on the RAM. Data cannot be reconstructed back. This is also false because there are ways and methods in order to reconstruct data, lost data back from the memory. Data is stored as key value pairs. Yeah, so that's how Redis stores database data, key value pairs. So Redis, you have to know this only. It is stored in RAM. It is very fast. It is used as a message queue for Celery, and their data is stored as key value pairs. And
Basically, benefits, demerits, and how to use. That's all we have to know, right?
yes, theory part only.
No, sir. Code also I have seen that they implemented just a URL part.
Yeah, just in caching only, or Celery, you just have to mention that it uses Redis. That's it.
So
You don't.
Celery code I didn't saw anywhere. Um, I
It is
saw
just
that.
that configuration part. You just say it is Redis, the localhost slash Redis. That's it. That's the configuration. One line. You don't have to worry too much about that. Mostly theory question. And caching also, you mention what kind of caching it is using. If it is using Redis cache, then that one line of configuration. That's it. And other things, theory, you have to know that these are the things that how Redis stores data. What are the merits and demerits, right? Same for Celery. Celery systems can consist of multiple brokers. I mean, anything can consist of multiple brokers. Celery will automatically retry if connection is lost. I mean, I also don't know. You have to read upon Celery and all these things. I'm also a little bit rusty on this.
So
Celery
this
automatically retries
complete
if connection is lost.
Celery doesn't have this.
Okay, that is mentioned in the answer, so I think this should be correct.
But I didn't read anywhere like Celery doesn't do this. We have to manually connect it as per my.
Okay, just read upon that what Celery does, how it does. Redis and RabbitMQ are only supported brokers. That is also false. It supports multiple other brokers as well. It has a feature to monitor and schedule tasks. This we know.
Yes,
Celery,
this is
yeah,
correct.
Celery Beat. It is called for
It is
scheduling
just
tasks.
for automation, right? Or
Yes,
scheduling tasks.
yeah. It just creates tasks.
It's a
When
task queue, right? Celery, I assume it's like task.
Yeah, it's called a task queue. Yes. Which of the following are true regarding message brokers? So broker, as the name suggests, transfers message from one server to another server. That's an intermediary between multiple servers. And that is what the first option is. Serve as an intermediary between applications, which allow senders to issue messages without knowing the state of the receiver. Right. That is correct. They stand between servers so that the communication between server don't have to be point to point. Multiple servers can connect to one broker, and the message can be transferred between them. They serve as an intermediary between applications, which allows senders to issue a message only after knowing the state of the receiver. So this is wrong. So the benefit of having a message broker in between is that the server one that is sending the message doesn't have to know anything about server two. I mean, not anything. It should know something where it is, what request it want to send, but it does not have to know the state, how, what is the load, if what is the response, and so on. It does not need to know everything about the state of the receiver. Option C is inter application communication is often asynchronous. That is also true.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. So there is no blocking connections.
So it is not usually synchronous. Which of the following are true about webhooks and WebSockets? Webhooks use HTTP protocol in general. That is true. Uses HTTP post in general. Uh, a web socket is used to achieve two-way communication. That is also true. WebSocket for two-way communication between server and client, bidirectional data transfer. Webhook is primarily used for server-to-server communication. Exactly right.
This is right. Right.
Yes.
This is right.
Webhook generally keeps the connection long-lived. That is absolutely wrong. Webhooks are generally, in that case, that fire and forget kind of thing. You just, if some event happened, then you give a post request to a particular URL, and then done. You don't have to care about the response. Doesn't have to be long-lived.
Sir, here I have a question. Like,
Yeah.
whenever some application, something happens on a particular application where webhook is set, so that application continuously fires that particular event. Let's say multiple Gmail emails arrived at our Gmail, right? And now Gmail has a setup. We have set up Gmail that says that a notification, if it arrives, then we will fire an event, say like email, and it will be captured to the another system A. So it doesn't continuously fire, or it just bundles everything and fire as well.
That totally depends on the implementation.
Okay.
You can implement your own way.
Mhm.
So generally, when we're talking about webhook,
I am talking about any third-party services.
yeah, so
Let's say.
third-party services, you register your URL where you want the data to be received, and
Yes.
they handle how they want to send it. Which of the statement is false about polling and long polling? So false. Be careful with the questioning. In polling, a client makes repeated calls to the server at fixed interval. So it does. So the answer is correct. So this statement is right. In polling, a client make repeated calls. Polling means send the get request or post request, multiple times until you receive a proper response back. In option B, polling requires a persistent connections to connection to the server. So that is not right. Persistent connection, not at all. In It's a normal request response cycle. For persistent connection, if you're talking, we have server sent event, that is a persistent connection from the server to the client, one way only. We have web sockets and some other things that we did not learn. I think SSC and web sockets is all that was covered as a communication means. Yeah. And polling, which is normal HTTP request response, which is not persistent. In long polling mechanism, option C, in long polling mechanism, the connection is kept alive till the server responds.
That's right.
That is also right. The long polling means if the request is sent from the client to the server keeps hold of the request as long as it takes. Suppose 10 seconds, 15 seconds it takes, it will keep hold of that request and then
Is
send
this
the
blocking?
response back. So it is
Sir,
symbol. Yeah. What are you saying?
is the client holds the request, right? So
Yes.
is it blocking,
Not
right?
client. Server holds the request.
So is it a
Yet
blocking thing here?
yes, it is a blocking kind of thing.
Okay.
So what happens in we had one kind of question over here, right? So this is holding the connection for 10 seconds. So this is what
Okay.
that long polling kind of does without the actual time not sleep. It waits for the response, some kind of event, some kind of data to be available, then it sends a response back. So similarly, this this is a kind of way to hold the connection. But the problem with this long polling is if if the connection lives for too long, so suppose 1 minute or 2 minute takes place, I'm not too sure about the exact time, but after a while the client will cut the connection off automatically because it will think that the server is taking too long to respond, so it will cut the connection
And we get
automatically.
that error as well. We get that error as well. If
Yeah,
we do
some kind of fetch error that the servers took too long to respond. Okay, question number 29. Which of the statements are correct? A webhook generally pushes the message to an application. Correct? A webhook, something, send a
we
message
do
to
a
another
post.
application.
We do a post.
So the important key here is pushes. It does not take data, it pushes data to something else. The webhook pulls the message from an application, but an API pushes the message to an application. So the
Reverse, just reverse.
pull keyword here is wrong. Webhooks don't pull data, they push data to another application, pulls the message. But API pushes the message to an application.
That's right.
A- yeah, API can do both. Pull the data as well as push the data. So if you're using get, it APIs, you can use APIs to get data, you can use APIs to push data. So APIs are a general form of communication that can be used to handle both kind of workloads, pushing as well as pulling. This is exactly what the third option C is. API can pull and push the message to and from an application. Yeah, so that is right. We use get to pull data, post to push data, put to push data, and C all of the above, which is wrong. Okay, what is the role of message broker? It says it ensures the message broker. Remember again the intermediary between different servers. It ensures that message get delivers to the correct recipient. Yeah, that is the role. If I'm sending from server A to server C, if I want that server A to server C, the broker itself will make sure that the request from A goes to C, but it will not make sure that request is completed. So B says if the message is undelivered, the broker usually retries until successful delivery.
No.
So the this says it's wrong, but I believe it depends on the implementation of the broker. But in general, brokers don't have that functionality.
Inbuilt they don't have. We can implement it from our side.
Yeah.
Sir, a task queue might have this functionality, right?
See, task queue, if you're talking about, yeah, task queue would have the functionality of automatically doing a task if it gets, if something goes wrong. But
Sir, task queue is additional functionality on top of a message broker. So we can explicitly add this, right? Add this functionality to our message broker.
task is not exactly, would we say it's a additional functionality. It uses a message broker to get tasks, but is it a actual, see, if you're talking about design, suppose this is my task queue. What is its job? To receive a task, to receive a task and deliver the result, whatever the result may be, asynchronously. So that is the functionality, right? Receive a task, do that work asynchronously. That's the work of a task queue, is it not?
Yes.
And how it does depends on the implementation of a task queue. For Celery, it uses the workers and message broker to receive the task. So usually
So those
Redis
workers are
is used as a message broker.
so in Celery, the workers are actually the cores, right? CPU cores that we use.
Yes, Redis is used as a message broker from which it receives the task, and accordingly it assigns the workers and the task ID and does the work. And if this work requires the data to be sent back, it sends back through Redis again. So uh, how would you
So
say
in
it's
this case,
a
salary is task queue.
yeah, Celery is a task queue. So so that's how it usually works. And we have a Flask application which will interact with the Celery in order to send that message to the task queue. That's what our implementation, or the implementation that Tej sir had in the screencast. It is like this: Flask sends a request to the Redis, the message broker. The message broker in turn sends it back to the Celery. All right. So your question was, is a task queue additional functionality based on a message broker?
It's
So
probably, but
let's check what ChatGPT says.
Sir, because I remember in one of the lectures, I think professor said that it is additional functionality on top of.
Okay, so it is saying a message broker middleware. The job is mainly to transport and route. Doesn't usually care about how messages are processed. Task queue is a bit usually built on top of a message broker. That's what it says. or on a persistence layer, its purpose is not just passing message but managing background tasks and jobs. Okay, so for example, Celery uses Redis as a broker but adds task queue semantics.
Yes.
So it says yes, task queue is an additional functionality built on top of message broker. Okay, so yeah, that is right. Message then goes to the message broker, then task queue, and to the workers. Okay, so remember this diagram as well. You have Flask sending the messages, Redis transports that message, and the Celery system that processes the messages. Okay, where were we? Does that make your does that clear up your the answer? Okay. Yeah, Purendu
Sir, I'm
Shukla.
waiting. Yes, yes, sir. I'm waiting that once you complete, I will ask that
Your
one
voice is
question.
very low. Can you speak up?
Yeah, I'm saying that once we complete, can you take up that last question that I asked earlier? You said that we
Ah,
will do
yeah,
that.
sure. This is the last one.
No, 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 not this one. I was asking about the PYQs.
Okay, sure. And in option number C, we have it ensures the message is processed in the last in first out. Last in first out doesn't make sense. It is always first in first out. Message
First in
broker
first.
is like a queue. Message broker itself uses a message queue internally. The message queue is like a first in first out. Whichever message goes first, that should be delivered first. You can send messages to multiple recipients if required. I think that is true. Depends on how you want to send it. Send messages to multiple recipients, of course. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we had in these questions. If you have any doubt, you can ask. And
Sir,
I
I
had
have just
some.
one thing regarding the end term. Can you suggest how to prepare from now on? So we have 4 days left. How should we go about doing it?
Cover the important topics and solve pyqs. The important
I
topics would be, you have to first understand how thick things work internally in JavaScript and Vue. That is very important. JavaScript topics such as arrow functions, normal functions, this context, the sort, filter, the array functions, as in the filter, map, sort. What else is this? Reduce. Those are important. How do you use
sure that
classes?
apply as well, right? Apply and call as well.
Yeah, call, bind, and apply.
Sir,
That is also.
where can we find all of this? So should we watch the live lectures, previous live lectures, or something
See,
else, so
if
that
you
we
if
can
you do
clear up
have
these
time, yeah,
important
if you
topics?
do have time, then you can watch the quiz one live quiz one revision session that I took previously. It was a bit long, so it depends on if you have time or not. I think it went over 4 hours. So quiz one you can watch there. And if you don't have that much time, if you know that okay, JavaScript I know this much, but you should know what you don't know. So if you're not very clear with arrow functions, go there. If you're not very clear with promises, how promises work, async await, how does that work, watch that. Then a few topics you have to gather, and the topic list I had previously shared. Let me share that again. So you can have this as a
We have to
reference.
cover all these topics.
Yeah, so important concepts I have mentioned. What are these? We have let, cons, dom interaction, things like that. All these things I have mentioned. Some things might miss, so just be careful with that. Some things I might have missed, so just double check with your peers. So in this case, you have to understand if so. Suppose if you don't know what underscore underscore proto does, so you go look up, look at these things and so on. You can just cover these things quickly, and if you have time, you can watch the previous live session of quiz 1, quiz 2.
So my question is totally different. I have system command as well as Mac2. Mac2 had 33 questions, system command has 16 questions. Where should I dedicate my time first?
So you should first do mat 2 theory questions. Once you complete mat 2 theory questions and you have a baseline score, then go to system commands, do
Okay.
that, and then come back to mat 2 the bigger questions.
Okay, sir. That means the coding questions.
Yes. So
Sir, I
if
think
there are
a
short
lot
coding
of
questions like 3-4 lines,
questions are asked
yeah,
from week 2.
yeah, definitely, yeah, a lot of questions are here.
Mainly from
JavaScript front
JavaScript.
end, yeah.
JavaScript is the thing that is like, especially the this context. That is what it's like changes the answer a lot, and even though let you think what is happening behind the scene.
Yes.
Rest of the things are like pretty okay because view syntax we already know, Vuex syntax we already know, view router how it works, router link, router, like.
Yeah,
Uh,
Vuex is pretty simple. Vuex, I don't think you'll get harder questions on that unless you have that multiple things involved inside Vuex. But usually they don't have that kind of questions.
Can we have a mix of everything like a question? I remember in my MLT HMS, sir actually prepared one question which has the concept from week 1 to week 12. Such type of question is also there, can also be there.
Yeah, there can be there, but attempt that later on after you have done everything. So
Okay,
whatever you think will take a lot of time, skip that and do other things which could score you much more marks.
okay.
Sir,
Yes.
approximately
Any other doubts
how
was
many
there?
questions? Sir, approximately how
There are
many questions will be
32
there?
questions.
32.
32 questions are there,
30 to
and
33.
half of them are theory questions.
Okay.
So I think
Thank you.
not exactly half, maybe like 12 or 14 are theory, and rest are coding based.
So you can take up that question.
So,
Yes.
so there is so much of theory, like theory-based questions, and so can you tell us some important topics from theory-based, like or weeks, which can be asked in the
See, mostly theory would be your last 4 week content. Those are mostly theory only. Redis, Celery, the cores, what are the security considerations, what is Lighthouse, what is front end performance, those things, what are API designs, and so on. Those things would be theory only. And apart from that, certain theory questions from Vuex, maybe JavaScript. I don't think. I mean, if JavaScript max theory question comes, it's like, what is the scope of var, what is scope of let, and so on. Simple theory. I think.
Where this is defined or not.
Yeah. So that kind of questions would be very simple. For theory, prepare for the last 4 weeks.
okay, thank you, sir.
So do we
Sir,
have a
can you take
mock?
up that question? I actually shared the link.
You don't have a mock. Okay, is that it? If so, I'll take previous year questions. Okay, no doubts are there. I'll take this EYQ.
I'm just sharing.
Which question was it?
31, sir.
31. You have another script. Which of the following statement will throw an error on the console when the HTML document is rendered using a browser? So just imagine this code has been written, and after that, which of them will throw an error?
Okay.
So I'll not look at this right now. When I look at the options, I will look at the question. Console.log box.tools my box.tools it exists. It will not
Right.
throw an error. My box.tools function
Yeah, this
So
will
here
throw.
this tools queue.
tools, will this cause an error?
Yes.
Yes, this will cause an error because we have a getter and setter defined. Once we have a getter and setter defined, we don't have a function in order to call the getter and setter. So if you
Instant
want to,
get.
yeah, if you want to call this get tools, you use mybox.tools. And if you
Okay.
want to call this function, you use mybox.tools equal to something else.
Okay.
That's how you call a getter and a setter.
Okay. Like
So
they have defined later on, right? These two.
so in this case, this will throw an error because tools is not a function. Mybox.tools, again, it's not a function. My box.tools screwdriver,
This is a
this
get
is okay.
setter.
This is calling a setter. This setter, this will call, and equal to screwdriver becomes the whatever you want to
It will
this.
just separate it out.
Yes,
Tool will
it will
be
run this function and do
screwdriver.
whatever is
But
inside this function. So will throw an error. So this will throw an error, this will throw an error.
No, sir. I think D will throw an error.
No, both will throw an error.
No, no. B will throw an error, but C won't throw an error. D will throw an
Why
error.
would see what happens with the getter and setter? Getter and setters are not exactly called the way functions are called. They are called like properties are called. My box.tools. If you
Exactly.
read this,
That's how. That's why C shouldn't throw an error. No, D would throw an error.
see this will trigger the getter. This will
Setter.
trigger the setter. This one. So why would this throw an error? Screwdriver pass as a parameter. Box equal to it will split this dot tool equal to, so tool becomes screw, cutter becomes grinder. That's it.
Sir, can you go to next question?
30 32.
Yeah.
Okay, just before that, is this clear? Why would this not throw an error? This will not throw an error because this is how you trigger a setter. This is how you trigger. This is the syntax to trigger this set tools. And this, since this triggers,
So,
and then this is the
so
actual
for
work.
setters, we always use an equal.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so in here, line 32. So both the view app is created in script.js file, and select the correct options. When the directive vif is falsy, it removes the entire element from the DOM. This is anyways true. When you use vif, that is the meaning of vif. If it is falsy, then it removes the entire element in which vif was defined, and it removes from the DOM itself. It's not there. If you use inspected element in order to view this, it will not be there. So this is true. Is this okay? Who asked the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The raw HTML created on index 1 and index 2 will be exactly the same when the values of both result and final are set to be true. Let's check. The raw HTML is what? This thing. This is the raw HTML. If the value of result and final are set to be true, uh, it it is exactly the same. So the raw HTML
it's
means
like
whatever is shown in the inspect element. So it should be the same because vif, only the difference here is vif and vshow, right? So vif, if it is true, if the result value is true, only h1 hello visible, this thing will be shown. And same with vshow, if it is true, then only this thing will be shown. No difference would be there.
So the difference will be in the implementation of how they do, right?
No
Like
difference
we
will be when it
show
is false.
these.
And when the result is false, then this thing will be entirely removed. And when in v show if the final is false, then this will the display property, the display style of this h1 would be set to none.
Hidden.
Now display will be none, not hidden.
Okay.
Third
Sir, can
option,
sir,
the
can
wrong.
you repeat what you said? I'm not understanding this one.
Okay, so how does v if work versus how does v show work? V if the statement here is falsy, then it removes the entire element from the DOM.
Element means H1 tag.
H1, yeah.
Ah, okay.
This wherever v if is defined, it so basically the work is it if it is true it should show, if it is false it should not show, right?
Yes.
That is the functionality, but the implementations are different. One is in v if it is not shown, that means this thing is not there in the DOM. It is not there in the elements at all. Okay, so remove it completely. That's what v if does if it is removed. But if you use the v show, if it doesn't want to show, if you want to hide it, there is another way to hide it. We can have the css property display as none. That is also one way to remove that from being visible. So that is what vshow does. Vshow sets the element the h1 in this case, the display to be none. In that case this again will not be shown, but it will still be there in the elements tab.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so in here will be the exact same for the current state of data. Current state of data is false, so that will not be the same, because in here it will be removed altogether. You would only see div id app and slash app or slash div. That's all you'll see. In this case, when this is false, it will show everything in the element, in the DOM. It will show everything apart from the css property of this h1 being changed to display none. This is false. When the v show is falsy, it removes the entire element. So this is also false. These both are true. Okay, anything else?
Sir, I have one question, sir. I have pasted the link. Can you please check that? It is very difficult for me to solve that question.
Okay, yeah, tell me the question
It has
number.
I will tell you the question number 25, I think.
Great, we are here already.
So this has memoirs and all, and I got confused, sir.
See, it is in caching. There is only two things: caching, cache.memoize. You just have to know this thing, and you will get marks. That's it. You have to know this.
No, sir. Memoirs means that argument is cached, correct?
Yes, correct.
But you read this question, sir. I didn't understand the question.
Okay, so here is the context. We first visit line number 1. First visit. So what is this? First visit. Okay, first visit. Two, second visit after 2 minutes 30 seconds. Third visit after 1 minute from the second visit. So that is the time frame that we are given. First we visit, then we visit it after 2 minutes 30 seconds, then we visit 1 minute after that. What will be the approximate difference in the response time between the first and the third request? Application is running here and user visits this URL in the following sequence. Following sequence should be bottom, but okay. So when we go to this URL first time, data/test, yeah, this particular URL, def data param. Okay, this param is taken, result equal to get data and param, and result when we trigger this, it goes to at cache.memoize. So cache.memoize, as you know, it will memoize based on the param. If the param is the parameter is the same, then it will take that. If the parameter if the parameter is same, then it will use the cached value. If the parameter is different, it will rerun the program, rerun this piece of code. Okay, So in here, first time we go here, it goes to sleep for 5 seconds. Then it returns this the data for param was test. The data for test that it will return. Result will be data for test. That is the first it takes 5 seconds.
No, sir, but the timeout is also there, no, sir. That is the confusion.
Yeah, sleep takes 5 seconds, so first request will take 5 seconds.
No, no, in memo is timeout.
Yeah. Okay, so that is fine. First request, anyways, timeout does not matter.
Oh, okay. So that timeout, okay, if the
Only gets so the timeout means how much time will this caching
cache array.
expire?
Oh,
When will
okay,
this cache expire?
okay. So okay, first one will take 5
First
seconds.
one will take 5 seconds.
Okay.
Then second request happens after 2 minutes 30 seconds. So 2 minutes 30 seconds is past this cache time. Cache is just 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
How much is this? Okay, sorry. It is 2 minutes 30 seconds only caching.
100, no?
Sir,
Sir, but sleep time will also be added, no? 5 seconds.
Okay, so cache gets triggered.
So cache is 3 minutes.
Okay. Cache is 3 minutes. Sorry. So cache is 3 minutes. Then the second trigger that happens, second trigger that goes to data.test, that will go into the caching only, right? It is 3 minutes. It is valid till 3 minutes. The second request that we did was 5 seconds plus this 2 minutes 30 seconds. So at 2 minutes 35 seconds, we are sending the second request. And this is within the time frame, the caching time frame. And also the param, this parameter that we are sending is the same.
Okay.
So same parameter, so it will go, since we're using memowise, it will go to the same, it will use the cache.
Okay.
So second time it will take the second request will take 0 milliseconds. So just consider it as 0. First took 5 seconds in order to complete because of the sleep. Second took 0. Third
Yeah, it
request,
didn't go into the now I understand. It doesn't go into that function itself.
yeah, before going to the function it will check the cache, this line, and since it's 3 minutes it will use the cache.
Cache. So it didn't go in, that sleep didn't get triggered. Okay.
Yes, sleep did not get triggered. Third time, that is again 1 minute after that. So
cache
that
is gone.
that would be 3 minutes 35 seconds from the first request. So since it's 3 minutes 35 seconds, now the cache has been expired. Cache gone. Next time it goes, again same thing happens. Goes into the sleep.
5. Okay. 5
So
seconds.
now the time taken would be 5 seconds.
Okay.
The third request time taken would be 5 seconds.
So 0.
So the answer would be, what is the difference, the time difference between the first and third request? That is 0.
Okay.
First one also took 5 seconds. Second one also took 5 seconds.
Sir, will we get such a difficult question, sir?
Not very difficult, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, it will go to sleep only if it is not in the memory.
It will go to sleep when this function gets triggered. This function gets triggered. This function will only get triggered when caching is not there.
Okay.
Before the function getting triggered or being called, it will first check the cache, right? That is what cache is for. It will first check the cache. If the cache is available, then it will use the value from the cache itself.
Okay, sir.
Sir, a question. Cache memoize always takes that argument timeout equal to some seconds.
No. There is a default timeout also. If this this particular argument is not present in cache.memoize or cache.cached, then it takes the default timeout.
Okay, sir. Then, like ideally, the argument timeout takes precedence over the cache default timeout.
Yes.
So, had it been timeout 120 in the cache memoize, then it would have done in 120 seconds. The memory it would have stayed in the cache memory for 120 seconds, despite the
Correct.
cache default timeout being 180.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So you can manually define the cache timeout for each route individually, and also have a default timeout if you don't want to have it. So if multiple routes are there, if you just have a default timeout, and for a one or two particular routes, if you want to have a manual timeout, you can have it like this. Those routes you can just manually write the timeout. Okay, is this it? Okay, I don't see any other doubts. Okay, so let's end at that.
Sir,
If you,
do we have a session on Saturday morning?
there is no scheduled session that time. You have that on the calendar, but the last session is actually today itself. This is the revision session part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, today is the last session. Okay, see you everyone. If you have any doubts, please ask on Discourse. I will be active. I was not active for a while. Now I'll be active. So I or other instructors or the TA would definitely answer your queries. Yes, Bhumika, you have a question.